Hey, what's up guys, Riff here. So this is a bit of a follow-up to yesterday's video where I went over the horrible situation involving Charlie Kirk, 31-year-old conservative who would go to college campuses and debate people, and at his final debate, he was brutally assassinated in front of a live crowd through an act of political violence. I mean, his family was in attendance, just a terrible situation all around. But I focused a lot on the reaction to it on social media, where thousands upon thousands of users were celebrating this man's demise and encouraging more political violence. And of course, just like anything else, it trickles down into spaces we talk about on this channel, like the gaming industry. And yesterday we looked at countless game developers who were celebrating his demise, or sharing or liking posts doing the same thing, or making calls for more violence. And some of those people have already been fired, so that's good news for that, at least. But also there's been a big conversation about various platforms and how violent rhetoric and calls for political violence have become so normalized. And one place that people are looking is Twitch. And of course, Hasan Piker. And you can see this was his stunned and horrified reaction when he saw the video of the assassination. And I think his reaction here was genuine, but pretty quickly he would just go back to being good old Hasan Piker and making this all about himself, and also trying to play the victim, I guess, where he says in an interview that he is now fearful of political violence, which is really rich coming from this guy who for years and years has spouted very violent rhetoric and sympathy for terrible groups and terrible events, and even made what many people believe are calls to violence, and politically motivated ones. And now it's rich hearing this guy say, "Oh, I'm scared of political violence." Well, it's a little too late to start pretending like you care about this stuff. In fact, only a few days ago, he made a call to violence.
No, we gotta, the moment is clear. You gotta sick like the ACP guys on him. Okay, that's it. You gotta get one of those like Has al Dink type motherfuckers to just like eat his ass alive. Let him fight.
This guy literally can't be consistent for 2 seconds, and he's been making a lot of tweets trying to shift the dynamic here. Like this one, he says, "Right-wingers have moved on from fake demands to tone down the violent rhetoric to fantasizing brazenly about murdering left figures. Citation needed." And you could probably find something to strawman here, but he didn't even bother doing it. He just makes this claim, expects you to accept it, despite thousands upon thousands of posts celebrating political violence and the assassination of Charlie Kirk. But now he's trying to basically say, "Oh, well, the other side's pretty bad too." Yeah, okay. This is the same guy who not even a year ago told his audience they need to end the life of Rick Scott, a sitting U.S. official. Not even a year before that, he tweeted this post over another U.S. official. This is the device that was used to assassinate former Prime Minister of Japan, Shinzo Abe. 2 times he has made some sort of a threat to a sitting U.S. official. How many people can say that? It's insane. And of course, a couple months ago, he was waving around what he was trying to give the impression of was a real gun when he felt disrespected by a streamer, and then he targeted the wrong guy while waving around this gun, and then he eventually also did the same thing for the right target. I mean, it's crazy. Like, we're not even getting into the comments about America deserving 9/11, or his indifference, or his inability to call out groups like Hezbollah. We're just getting through like stuff like this, and it's recent too. 24 hours before the shooting, Hasan Piker reposted this, which says, "So you can just get that close to the president, huh?" Referring to people getting close to Donald Trump in public. It's very obvious what they're implying here, that someone could get close to him and attack him. Why else would he repost this? He can't be consistent for 2 seconds. And there is endless clips, and thanks to Tectone for putting this one together, but I'm just going to play a small part of it. This is some of the rhetoric he has spouted over the years.
I'm sick and tired of it. Left-wingers, liberals, you need to be going your opponent's guts on there, okay? You need to be gutting them. You need to be shanking these motherfuckers and letting their intestines just ride on stage. What the this shit, man? Slice them up. Slice them and slice them. What the is this? You cannot have a bigger layup. You could not have had a bigger layup than a horrible candidate like Herschel Walker.
874 Bellevue Drive, and I'm gonna kill you with my AR-15. Like that's the type of messages they were leaving in this dude's office, and he's resigning. Like he's literally, this is his last term. So I think that people are a lot more radical.
It's hurt poor people that they can afford housing in Berkeley. I don't know how that works.
My understanding is that the property owners who have properties there choose just not to rent it at all.
Yeah, kill them. Kill those motherfuckers. Murder those motherfuckers. Street. Let the streets soak in their fucking red capitalist bloods.
No. This is the guy who is fearful of political violence, despite saying all of these things for years and years and years. And I didn't even play some of the clips of his orbiters who have made also calls to violence. In fact, two people he surrounds himself with, Mike from PA and Denims, have both put bounties on other people's heads. One of the conversations was about Stellar Blade. How many people do you know that have two friends who have done something like that? It's just violent rhetoric all over the place. And now this guy's trying to basically say, oh, this is a little too much. Like, this has been going on for years and years and years. In fact, one of the compilations of his takes here, his wild statements, caught the attention of Elon Musk. Now, where that goes, I have no idea. But the fact it's come to this, because nobody at Twitch will put their foot down and punish the most egregious behavior you'll ever see. None of it's going to stop for a long time. It doesn't seem like Twitch is ever going to do anything about Hasan Piker, and this violent rhetoric is going to continue to be spread around, and we see the effects. We have seen how much radicalization has gone on social media, where people feel free to celebrate death. They feel free to threaten people's lives. They feel free to encourage more political violence. It's because of rhetoric like this existing and being protected by places like Twitch. Now, Asmongold would comment about the assassination, and of course, then Hasan would react to it, and he would just go completely unhinged.
Genuine terrorism on a daily.
Dude, he's such a pussy. Just say you want me to be killed, okay? What is this? What is this wishy-washy, like, oh, the left gets to do terrorism, and the left is defended for doing terrorism, and they should actually experience the violence themselves. That's what he's trying to say.
And then, congratulate each other about how moral and how good they are for doing it, because something bad that happened in Palestine, or something bad that Donald Trump did 3 years ago. This is just
Twitch partner streamer, by the way.
Simply a response. This is what's going to happen. And so, and I think that that's probably what it's going to take for these left-wing people to realize what a bad idea what they've been doing is. Because until it starts happening to them, until they start having people that are their friends, or, their, like icons that they look up to, same way people look up to Trump.
Dude, this is so stupid, okay? This person is more my contemporary on the opposing side than this rat is. I was supposed to debate him 2 weeks from now. What the talking about? I've known this person for longer than I've known Asmongold. He has abhorrent views, okay? And I despise his views. But he's over here using the death of a dude I was supposed to debate 2 weeks from now, call for violence in the pussiest way possible, without naming names here too, because he doesn't want to get banned.
As pointed out in this response from Asmongold, he always wants to play the victim. Hasan always wants to play the victim to the point where he's literally begging someone to basically say they want to harm him. And that's not what Asmongold wants. I think Hasan's a little confused because he's encountering someone who doesn't have these violent thoughts. So when he sees someone like Asmongold talking about this, that's where his mind goes. But that's not where Asmon's mind was. It clearly wasn't. And also, he talks about how he's supposed to debate Charlie Kirk, which is, Yeah, it's pretty crazy if you think about it. In only a week and a half, he was supposed to debate Charlie Kirk. And this was Hasan's own chat reacting to him bringing up what was supposed to be a debate with Charlie Kirk. This is from Pegasus. This is just how his chat looked for a few seconds.
Now, turns out Hasan was scheduled to debate Charlie Kirk in 15 days from now, and upon hearing the news of Charlie's death, here's how Hasan's chat responded as he was covering the story. Basically, we got a bunch of laughing emojis. Doesn't mean he's not coming on then. He gets away again. Laughing emoji, he will debate the corpse. Debate his corpse. I think that would mean Hasan won the debate actually. Debate the corpse. He got smoked. Today is a good day. Can't believe he got shot on purpose to avoid the debate. I'll pray, but not for the reason he wants. Debate 1. That's ridiculous. He's just trying to do anything to duck the debate. Here we got some Illuminati emojis. False flag and the sus emoji. Staged. Oh no, Charlie down. Charlie down. Wee-oo, wee-oo. No Fed posting. I'm not upset. Laughing again. Finally some good news. Did he get himself shot to avoid the debate? Also, we do not need your help moderating, but thank you for your suggestions. That's right, we got this under control. By the way, all those comments are in the span of 10 seconds, right? Because there was literally the first 10 seconds he was covering the story. Wonderful audience there, Hasan, as always. Again, Hasan is not responsible for random chatters, but I just find it interesting, the complete lack of moderation there for literal years, you know? It's almost like, you know, they say the things that he doesn't want to say, right? But that's just my opinion.
But no, housing all of this sort of rhetoric, it definitely doesn't impact your community. Yeah, this is exactly how they act all the time, because they're allowed to act like this all the time. There's no moderation. This stuff is encouraged. It's tolerated. They know they have a place in his community acting like that. They know they're not going to get kicked out or anything. In fact, there was a guy, a Hasan fan, was allegedly arrested for terroristic threats just a few days ago. Now, nobody's responsible for the actions of others in that sort of a direct way, but this is what goes on in his community. They're all unhinged, and they've been allowed to exist on places like Twitch for a very long time, and really enough is enough with this. It's just ridiculous to see this guy with his crocodile tears coming out and saying, we got to stop political violence. I'm fearful of political violence, when he's been doing this stuff for years with him and his community. But anyways, that's going to do it for this video. As always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you next time.